What's up, guys? Prince Sports here, man. Coming at you with another one. And we saw boxing yesterday. Great night of boxing. I'm glad to present that Showtime is bringing good boxing almost every Saturday now. Now, I talked about it. HBO need to get back on the mix and start presenting some boxing so we can have double headers. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford said that Earl Spence is not on his mind no more. He don't care about talking about Earl Spence. Um, and he's past the thought of fighting Earl Spence. That he doesn't need Earl Spence. And he said he didn't need Earl Spence in the past. But you keep constantly talking about the guy. Now you said, hey, there's some fights that I have to pass by. So you get to a point where you're just going to have to let some fights go. And I don't see myself ever fighting Earl Spence. But people got the nerve to say Earl Spence is ducking Terrence Crawford. Now, this is the problem with boxing. Earl Spence show no indications that he's ducking Terrence Crawford. Okay? But yet, Terrence Crawford has a bigger fan base, so to speak, so they make up that excuse. Now, here's another funny thing about it. Terrence Crawford said he was trying to get the Pacquiao fight since 2015. You mean to tell me both of you guys are managed by top rank in-house fighters and you can't get yourself a fight with Manny Pacquiao, but Earl Spence Jr. can? Something's wrong there. Something's really wrong there. And the fact that Earl Spence was able to get a fight with Manny Pacquiao, of course, injuries happened. He couldn't go through with it. It just goes to show you that Earl Spence is a bigger name probably than Terrence Crawford because he can land the fight, but you couldn't. But somehow you looking past that. You know, that's the problem with boxing, man. It don't really give us the fights that we want in reasonable time. There's always this nonsense to make good fights. Now, Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter is going to be a great fight. Now, instead of focusing on Sean Porter, he's talking about Earl Spence Jr. Now, is that a good fight? Yes. Is that a fight we like to see? Yes. But I would go as far to say that that could have been a fight that we could have watched on Showtime, not pay-per-view. A pay-per-view fight would have been Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence Jr. We've been waiting for that fight for years. There's no reason why that fight should have not happened. Why these fights in boxing never get happen? You never get to see your favorite boxer fight against top competition most of the time. They're always fighting stepping stones. You know, look at David Benavidez yesterday, fighting a stepping stone. But his real fight, you know who he really wants to fight. Will he make it happen? We don't know. Now it's too late for the Terrence Crawford versus Manny fight because Manny went on to retirement. But you mean to tell me two active fighters, Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence Jr., can't fight? Why is Shakur Stevenson still lobbying to fight another Olympian that he wants to fight? But y'all keep trying to push him on Tank Davis, a guy that's not even in his weight division. Come on, man. Now, would I like to see Tank versus Shakur Stevenson? Yes, even though they're good friends. But at the same time, give us the fights we want to see. Give us the fights that people are clamming on for top dollar. You know what I'm saying? Those are fights that people pay their hard-earned money for. Those are fights that people want to see. So give it to them. But this is the reason why boxing is a little on the low side compared to UFC, because that's his main competition. You don't give people the fights that they want to see when they want to see them. And that's a downfall. So I think Terrence Crawford is capping. I think Terrence Crawford is somewhat ducking Earl Spence Jr., but trying to hype this fight up so he could get a bigger payday. But how long are you going to do that? What if both of you guys are shot by then? That means you mean to tell me we couldn't get a fight with both of you guys in your prime? Come on, man. Prince Sports out. Peace.